Okay. All right. Welcome, everybody, to Battle Pirates Crib. This week, I guess we're going to take a look at the last raid a little bit, see what we learned, maybe what we may do different, or maybe not, and the new FM prizes. Let's say hello to everybody. Crypto,
Hello.
Magic Mike,
Hi, everyone. Sure are looking good.
Darpy.
Here for a good time, not a long time.
Yeah. Did you get your pardon?
Oh, not yet. I'll get it in 4 years.
You enjoy exotic?
4 years and 1 day, both of us.
Okay. All right. That's going to happen in the future. And TSM?
Hey guys, how you doing? Have I just woken up from a dream? I feel like I've been in a nightmare for the last 4 years.
Well, yeah, it could have happened. So let's move on.
Not that I'm picking sides.
Mm-hmm. Right. It's all good. No bug fixes this week. So
Wow.
yeah.
By memegenerator.net, the premier meme editor for boomers.
Okay, you're a little garbly, Derpy, but we'll work on that. And let's move on. Alrighty. I'm not sure. We have the FM VXP weekend and the January contest that got moved from last week. Still no word completely on the designer diary or stack compression.
Or Saw Factory.
Or what?
Saw Factory.
Yeah, Saw Factory is, we're going to have to wait for the long-term calendar on that one. I haven't used Derpy's calendar yet that he put together because the last calendar we were supposed to get was in, I think, December 22nd, and we haven't got an update since then. But Derpy's been nice enough to put one up on the TFC page.
And if you want me to pop it up extremely quickly in case people want to grab a screenshot, more than happy to go through that.
Okay. Let me know when you got the right Zoom level, and I will pop you over.
Yep, it's all open here.
Okay. All right. VXP weekend and Return to Honor, which we'll talk about later. Bounty 40 is the following week. This is all based on previous experience. Pillage, February 2nd. This is the second of the Everest Gladius. This will be the last one in that phase. And then we have VXP weekend again, the raid, VXP weekend, and you're projecting that the tier 10 Siege TLC, basically the Siege version, the new Siege version of Return to Honor. This is the one that's always seems to, they try to bounce around and does bounce around because as we see, it's in VXP weekend this month, but normally it pops in during Bounty, but sometimes it pops in during VXP weekend, and there's been times where they've tried to push it to the following week. So this is
it might
the
come
one
a week earlier, might come a week later, and I would like Kickside to nail that down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of all the dates, that's at least in my mind, that's the most important one.
I don't really care about it, but other people do. So
yeah, well, the rest of them, those are clockwork.
Mm-hmm.
Unless there's like an extra week and we have a Krampus or we have something like that, that's the only time that the calendars are news to us, so to speak. So yeah, and Josh will get to the rad damage, but yeah, the red damage would be a whole different thing. I think that's what TSM was bringing up earlier. Okay. Well,
there's your sneak peek.
Yeah, there we go. And we have a new CM, Kix Drake. Geely is moving on to something else within the company. I guess we'll leave it at that. And but as far as January VXP weekend, this is a good time if you're not upgrading your Ronins and have a full fleet to time and cost efficiency to get Defender VXP tokens if you're not already stocked up or low on them. It's always after the second raid in the cycle, your fleet is developed enough to run through these targets pretty easily, as opposed to the first week the first month of the raid cycle, pretty much impossible, to efficiently do these targets. So we don't really have anything to rank up, so this is the time to collect those tokens if you want. So we have Bounty, potentially a CM Diary. Geely's staying on through the end of the month, so that might come from her, or Kickside Drake, who came over from War Commander as the CM, and he actually ran YouTube shows. I don't know if he's going to pick that back up with Battle Pirates.
What was it? Drake's Sex Dungeon? Was that it?
I think so. Depending on what channel. It was either the normal channel or the Safe for Work channel. Really depend on what the title was and potentially the content. I didn't really watch it that much because I don't play War Commander. But
I think it was S&M.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll have to do a deeper dive on that and figure out the details. So, okay, that's the calendar. And again, we're going to get back to this because I have my doubts about this at this point, but I'm not certain. This is the only point of data that we have. They have not given us any long-term calendars, and I'm wondering if this is related to it. That the move from Outpost 11 to Outpost 12 was the end of February, with the same prerequisites and all as far as the timing goes.
If you were asking me, a few months ago, I would have expected this to come when the first Tier 10 poll, either PvP or PvE, did come out.
Yeah,
we're getting the Tier 10 Siege hole in the next raid a month from now.
yes.
I would have expected it to come out between now and next month.
Yes, and that's something I was going to get to when we get to the armor. So, because I have some questions on that one. That's why I'm sort of doubting this as a date. And I agree with you that I think it might potentially come early. Or, because we had some, we'll get to that in a minute. All right, let's move on. All right, Return to Honor. If you have your Ronins, it's quite easy. I did the first prize pack because that's, it's only been up for an hour and I've been doing other stuff, and it was all very easy instant repair on the map for that. As far as the clouds, they will give you a ton of damage if you just wander into them. Also with the Tempest little rings of fire, those will also give you a ton of damage. Typhoons, okay, yes, the Typhoons. The rings of fire that they launch will do damage, but you can take down the Typhoons with the side weapon from the flag very easily. You can auto the first 3, unless you're Derpy. He tried to auto the whole thing, and that didn't work out well, right?
I will not be autoing the whole thing next month, or this month, rather, I should say.
Yeah. Like I said, the clouds and the burning ring of fire will hurt you pretty badly. So, yeah. That's what we're saying. Okay. I don't know what to say. Hopefully that works out. All right, but I recommend everybody does this. You have, I think the big prize for a lot of people is the 5 additional Ronin upgrade tokens. You know, you have a limit of 10, so don't spill them over, as always. Your Ronin flag is still going to X1. I think you won't have any problem going through it.
You don't need the Ronin flag.
Yeah, you don't. You're just going to take less damage because you're going to kill these things really fast with that side weapon. You don't need it, but I don't know. Are you at any point without the Ronin flag and doing all the targets going to take more than repair on the map, though?
I was, if it's still the same damage as the previous versions, I was instant fix after each round with just 4 normal ships.
So 4. You just answered my question.
1 through 7.
I was going to ask if 4 was good enough.
On the water?
All the way through. I can't remember. Definitely instant fix. I mean, I've got the video. I haven't updated the video, so it was, what, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago we did that video, 4 weeks ago? I can't remember. Probably this time last month, wasn't it? So if they haven't changed the targets, then yeah, it's definitely a case of instant fix after each one.
Okay,
I'm pretty sure it was on the water. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Yeah, it's.
I can go and have a look, but I'm pretty sure it was.
Mm-hmm.
See if I can find it.
Yeah, 3 will do it. It's an easy campaign.
Oh, cool.
We're still trying to clarify if it's still on the water between each one, and but everybody do it mostly for those tokens, the build tokens. I'm sorry, the upgrade tokens. Okay. Well, let's move on.
Well, that's me. Sorry.
All right, Death Before Dishonor.
Favorite raid this year?
Wasn't that bad, really.
Yes, the only raid this year.
Actually, probably my favorite raid in the past. It's up there in the past 12 months.
Okay.
You know, they did what I've been saying for myself for a long time, is they should make the raid easy enough if you spent the time and do the driving right, that you do well. But if you make a mistake, then you pay. And I think, my own opinion, just my opinion, that that's what happened in this raid. If you made a mistake, you paid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it wasn't your whole fleet blows up. It's here's some moderate, reasonable amount of damage. It was skill based.
Yep. I think that because I did them for like 15 to 20 minutes, and then they'd make a mistake, and I took an hour.
Okay. And Greg, was this with the flag and all full fleet? So, yeah. What we saw, to a large degree, was a plethora of explosive damage. With most builds, I'm 50-50 on mine, and some people went, higher concussive, higher explosive. But the thing I noticed when I was doing the Return to Honor campaign, the side shields don't work as effectively against those targets, against torpedoes, as they did in the raid. And my thought, as far as the next level, is there's a good chance that we might see a higher evade of the incoming torpedoes to potentially even things out as far as the amount of damage.
Hefe, so I've just had a quick look. I've just rerun the video. So my ships only had 3 at the time,
Mm-hmm.
they were U2, and everything was instant fixed on the out on the sea, bar a couple last rounds, and it was 10 minutes. But that was U2, and now I've got X1. So and it only took 3 ships last time, but I did drive everything after round 3.
Okay.
So certainly doable with 3 ships. So no reason why people can't be upgrading ships in their, in their dock and stuff like that.
Yeah, unless they want to. Well, it really depends on what stage. Obviously you don't need to worry about it. at what stage that you're at. Are you between these tokens and the tokens you earned in the?
I mean, mine's not fully upgraded. I'm still upgrading now in slow time. I'm doing the X1 for the flagship because I hadn't done that before, so I
Okay.
didn't plan on rushing. So I'm still need to do that. Well, I'm in the midst of it. I think I'm 6 days to go or something like that. So
Yeah, because if you're going to get it all done, because I'm sort of semi-committed at this point to doing some Everest upgrades, taking another ship to U3, and then I have my flag at U3, which I just did because I'm assuming we're never going to get tokens for it. We might get tokens for the rest of them.
they don't generally for the flagships, do they? They don't generally give you. I've not noticed it
They
after
don't.
3 sessions now.
Yeah. So, but that U3 upgrade is explosive damage and something else. It wasn't useful for the actual flag because mine set up as a CM. So it wasn't the most useful to do there. But my hope is, if I get the U3 done on a regular ship, that increase of 70% explosive damage is somewhere. It's a pretty high number. I'm going to put all 5 of my avalanche mortars on that ship and take advantage of the increased damage that we get from the U3 upgrade and concentrate on all one ship, because that'll probably be, might be the extent of my U3 upgrades for a couple months, as far as me feeling like I have a bit of time right now. So, but as far as the Death Before Dishonor and the Roads, what do you guys, are you going to make any changes as far as your fleet goes?
Yeah, I have. I mean, I just looked back at that again. So the build on the end of that video, I had no explosive armor at the time, and I only had 6 torps on each of and 1 countermeasure. So there wasn't even fully built fleet.
Okay.
So I didn't have enough, obviously, because it was back then. We didn't have enough of the limited torpedoes, so I didn't even have the full firepower then. So we should be in a much better place this time round.
Do you like the half and half armors?
So in the end, obviously, I went initially because I was hoping the explosive wouldn't be quite as crazy as it was, and I had 3 concussive. And in the end, I switched around halfway through because I had the tokens but didn't need them, and I went actually 3 explosive and 1 concussive in the end, and reduced on average about, particularly in the driving target, not the 150, but particularly in the one that you have to drive. I think I took about, per ship as I was changing them, about 6 minutes damage off per hull. So across the 5, then obviously good up to about 40 minutes reduction in damage time.
So if you can't do if you take enough damage to do base repair, it doesn't matter whether it's just making it or it's just at the edge of it.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So if the switch over to different armors and whatnot doesn't make that kind of a difference,
it did for me for no, but it did for me because I had 3 CT, and that definitely was not base repair. Okay. Whereas I switched to the explosive because obviously those flipping, whatever it was, chucking out rockets and that sort of stuff, is quite difficult. And then obviously they can further, obviously the not that you had to take the damage from, but the stealth torpedoes. Well, they weren't really stealthy, were they? But they were also explosive as well. But whether they actually changed it to explosive and originally it was concussive, or they just reworded it because it was actually
the forum post was incorrect.
I think the forum post was I agree, Deb. The forum post was incorrect. But
what's the chances they mess with it on the next target or on the next raid, though?
I don't think
they should.
They already corrected that.
To be honest, and to be fair, I've not noted that actually they've changed anything specifically massively. We've said that in the last at least, if not 4, and they pretty much stuck to their guns. They might have tweaked the little damage ratio, but they haven't messed with the targets, as in had a different damage type or that sort of stuff, or added more ships, etc. They might put some more islands in, or that sort of stuff.
Just thought it out.
My big fear is they will increase the evade on the incoming torpedoes.
The flak evade or countermeasure
Well,
evade.
it's torpedo evade. What do you want to call it on the incoming torpedoes? That they'll mess with that.
Well, a bit screwed then.
Well, not massively, because I think the accuracy is 400. But the outcome of that, if they try to make it, like I said, with this return to honor, you don't stop all the incoming torpedoes. And if they mess with that a little bit, what that's going to do is create a situation where your comrades are probably pretty much useless, and you might want to trade them out for additional torps and take up some of those spots. But
If I was betting, I would say there's a 75% chance they don't do that.
Okay. What would you
I would expect the damage type distribution and the mechanics of the actual targets to be the same or nearly identical next raid to this raid.
Okay.
I might be wrong. I'm telling you there's a 25% chance I might be wrong, but
Yeah.
if I make any changes to my fleet, it will be adding more explosive armor. Or actually more likely saving tokens for day one of the raid after they don't change it so I can add more explosive armor.
Exactly. That was the point that I was going to get to. Not to make these changes now, but if you need to make adjustments to your Ronins, there's a chance that you're going to have, if you have leftover FM tokens, and pretty much all the FM tokens that you're going to earn this week, you're not going to have a use for, is if you need to make changes, use those and save the Ronin tokens, unless you're going to overspill on the return to honor, and then you can go ahead and use those. That's why I brought it up, because I'm going to spill over. I already have like 8, and I'm going to earn 8. So
yeah, it's messy. But I would say to people as well is I spoke to you about it last week. I wouldn't go for explosive at the moment. Save some tokens if you wanted to, because obviously, if and I did try it on the last day of the raid just to double check. If you do make a mistake and you do get clapped a little bit by a couple of concussive issues, incoming things, then you feel the pain. Definitely, it's surprising the difference that just one armor can make. So I went back to putting one concussive back
even at X1.
Even at X1. Yeah, I noticed it straight away. Minutes, I'm talking minutes, but problem is minutes across 5 makes a huge difference. And I know it only targets one ship because it's a torpedo, but it's just. And I think to myself, well, I was really fortunate, as I said in the thing. The BP app still works for those that are available to use it. I was still doing 150s on auto and that sort of stuff. You still need a little bit of protection, I think. So, I'll save a few tokens because I think it was like 12 hours or something to change it from one to the other. So, a day's token, if you don't need it particularly, you can just burn it off and change it instantly. So I'm going to have 5 saved. I'll make sure I have 5 saved. So I will do the campaign even though I don't need them, so that I can actually do the adjustments. So if necessary, but I don't intend to. I think I'm going to stick at 3 explosive and 1 concussive.
Okay. So I think the takeaway is to if you need to make changes now and you don't have a use for the FM token, go ahead and do it now with the FM tokens so they don't go to waste, unless you have some other use for them.
Like there might potentially a new Conqueror coming out in Bounty.
Yes.
If that's not, I mean, it might be next month, might be 2 months from now. Maybe we just get more turrets or something. Yeah. But it's potential.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is to but otherwise, a lot of people might be in the position where the return to honor is also going to cause them to spill tokens into the sea. So take a look at your inventory of both of them as you move forward. But at the end of the day, what you want to do is create flexibility for the next raid in order to make changes on your armor and cormorant allocation because you might want to make changes to both of them at that point in time, and just maximize your flexibility by having tokens where you can just do them.
Yeah, it's a good point as well. So at the moment, I've only got 5 cormorants on across the fleet total now. I went down to 5, and I didn't notice it was an issue at all. But obviously, you can change an armor and cormorant back again if you wish to. You can still do that within a 1-day build token.
Okay.
Because I did do that. I went up to 2 cormorants, then went back down to 1, and I changed the armor, and it's all within a single day build token. So you can do that.
Okay. Well,
I gotta head out early. Thank you, everyone.
Okay.
I'll be here again on Friday.
Cheers, buddy.
Moo.
He didn't get pardoned. He still has to go back into work release.
Yeah,
right?
my court summons.
Yeah. Okay. Alrighty. All right. Well, let's. All right. The FM schedule: 3 weeks. Nothing too exciting. And March, we're going to have 4 weeks, but we have 3 weeks the next 2 months. So, just so you're aware. But after this current FM, you need to save cycle 2 and cycle 3 in order to build whatever the tier 10 siege hall is coming out, in the next raid, in order to get them up and going for VXP weekend. And so just keep that in mind.
What do you think the weapon system is going to be this time?
Well, I think we got a clue on the next slide.
Yeah, I was going to say there's a hint, isn't there?
Yeah, there's a little bit. There's a couple hints in there, and that's I was hoping to push through there. So, but
okay.
Next slide. Oh, it's not the next slide. It's the following slide. Okay. The 162 was replaced with the 163. The 162 had 12,500 event points. So hopefully later we'll get somebody to run through them. Crypto, you ran through it in the pre-show. How much damage on auto did you take?
53 minutes, but mine were the flag was U3 and the rest were U0. I've had a report in the sector that all U3 was 25 minutes on order.
Okay, I think a lot of people are probably, well, I know I'm somewhere in between those two. Yeah, I'm curious. And do you recall what you were getting autoing the 162?
162 was about the same, I believe.
Okay, so
I've got a picture in that's just come to me now, and it's someone doing it. And he's U3 across the fleet, and it's 18 minutes.
Okay, and he's autoing, or
no, I don't know. It didn't say. I must admit.
Okay. Yeah, because I was thinking as far as
he just sent me a picture. That was all.
Okay. Yeah, as far as
do like one later on, we can do different versions, can't we? So we can auto and then we can drive. It's just
we'll get to that. Okay, it sounds good. But I wouldn't hope for a huge damage increase, considering the fact that we only have a 500 of FM point increase. It's minimal increase in points, so I would really hope they don't really screw us with the damage. And it doesn't really sound like they have. It sounds like a very similar target. Not sure why to switch it up so much if this is a target that everybody's autoing, but whatever. Josh got 18 minutes from the 163 with driving. So, okay.
All right. Okay. Yeah. I wasn't sure that's.
Right.
Yeah, it was Josh that sent me the picture. I wasn't just sure if it was driving or not driving, so he's confirmed that, so that's good.
That's not
okay.
No, it's all right, isn't it? It's acceptable.
Yeah. Alrighty. And it could be one of those targets where are you better off autoing or are you better off driving?
Yeah, and we'll look at that. Yeah, we'll look at that.
Okay.
Because last time we had that mistake. So.
Okay. We have 2 new siege armors as the prizes. They have a weekly cap limit of 4. They have They're 35,000 each, so it's it's a bunch of points. As you know, TSM was hinting at earlier, it increases your radioactive damage by +2. The damage, the weight has gone from 35. Oh, no, I'm sorry, I'm skipping ahead. So basically, they're 3,500, or 35,000. Yeah, 35,000 per. The limit is 4 per. Normally, if you have a weekly limit of 4, you're either going to have 6 armors on a ship or 4 armors on a ship, which is the part that sort of worries me, because the Gladius had a weight of 3,500, but it only had a weekly allocation of 2, and in addition to and it weighed 3,500, so it weighed less, and we potentially have the potential for twice as much armor. And let's take a look. One more click.
Well, don't forget the Gladys only had 2 armor.
That's what I'm saying. They had 2
and
armor.
not 4. So and certainly not 6. So it's interesting, isn't it?
Yes, and that's what, because you run into a couple of issues. One, we're going from 9.5 to 10 at this point in time, and that's my fear. Is, are we going to get caught in this? You need to upgrade your dock in order to go all with the new armors.
I hope that's not the situation. I hope not.
Well, but that happened last year, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. I mean, yeah. You go back to the Atomic Punisher. I mean, that was 6 armors. Yeah. And that wasn't fun, because that was the time when you had to update your dock, where you couldn't get all your Punishers out at the same time.
Yeah. So as an example, if we look at the ones on the left-hand side, the Y2C versus whatever the new armor is, we had 2 armors that were going to be 6,400, and now we're either going to go to we're either at 10,000 weight, or we're going to go to 16, or we're going to go to 24, right? Yeah.
So it's interesting. So it's gone down, because obviously Punishers were 6, and you had Dragoons that were 4, and then obviously the Gladises were 2.
The Dragoons were before the. Right?
Yeah, but still, they're not constant on the number of. I'm just looking at how they're laid out in my dock. Sorry, but so it's not even a set pattern of, like, classically on the subs and the skirmish, you know exactly how many armies you're going to be fitting. It's the siege fleet that seems to have a random amount, and it's never seems to be as consistent. I'm trying to go back in my storage now to find the even really older siege fleets, just to see. I think that might be the oldest ones I have.
I mean, I could be wrong, but it seems that we have they have different GDs doing each cycle. Like Osprey was the last one. He does skirmish. I don't remember all the names, but it seems like there's a different game designer associated with each hull class in the raids. So that might be why it's. I'm not sure. I can't recall who does siege, but why it seems a little bit, whatever word you might use for that, erratic, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. But sporadic. Yeah.
Yeah. But we see. I mean, the weight's going to become an issue with either one of them if we go to 6, because I was close to my weight on my Gladius. But then there's the whole thing, like, do we want to take the damage versus the survival, especially if you are at, somebody like, TSM, you like to upgrade. Why did they lower the damage percent by 1%? By 1? Because there's going to be more armors.
Yeah, that's what I think as well.
Yeah, and so that's the tricky part. Like, how do you see this trade-off of survival versus damage, it's probably going to work out in the wash. But I would think that the new armors are going to be better at U0, but the older armors are probably going to be better at X1.
So it's a trade-off. Yeah, exactly. Because you might want to exactly that point. You might literally want to have a little look about that and play clever with armor selection in the long run, and take a little bit of. If you're not one for keep refitting, you might want to consider the long game and not the short game, if that sort of makes sense. I know we've only got 2 raids, 2 months worth, but
yeah,
it's a bit messy. This, I think, to go up and down armor plate levels is one thing. To go up and down number of armor plates required per hull, almost they're setting themselves up to make things sound more complicated than they need to be honest.
Yeah, especially since we don't know, because we can't, I mean, at this point, well, I guess the only problem that we have at this point as far as moving forward is knowing how many of these to collect. Because I know a lot of people were complaining with the armors for the Ronin. Well, I needed to collect more of these and less of those, and now I can't. I can't switch them over. I kept on collecting them. I had 6 extra of each to make changes going into this past raid. I didn't make any changes, but I had the opportunity.
So I suppose the only bonuses. I mean, I just looked at Eradicators, and they were 4 as well. So there was 4 on those, and 4 obviously on the Dragoons, 6 on the Punisher beforehand, and then we've gone down to 2. Clearly, we've gone back up based on the number they're releasing in the FM. It's probably going up to 4. But yeah, it's yeah, I don't know. Maybe they've gone round in a full circle, like you're saying, and a different GD is now working back on it again or something. I don't know. Or they're going to pull something out. But it's frustrating they don't give you the blueprint. I know it's early, but my advice is basically, if there's not a lot to collect in the FM and there's not much else going on, because even the TLCs are quite quiet and it's VXP weekend and no one's really got that much they will need to focus on for VXPing, hopefully, because they've got most of their ships done. Smash out as many FM points as you can and get all the armors this week if you possibly can. That's my advice. Even if it ends up just going around and altering the 135s, if your fleet's up to speed, you should be able to do that for instant fix on the sea. Watch your film and just keep clicking away, and after a couple of hours, you'd have an awful lot of points and no damage still. So,
yeah, because right now we have 3 weeks of FM. Right, there's no reason strategically not to get them all. Like you said, there's no reason not to get them all this week. And then next week, there's no reason not to get them all. And then the third week, then there might be a question, assuming we're not going to go to 2 armors, but I assume we're going to be sticking with at least 4 plus, 4 to 6 on this ship. And that's the point where you're like, on the third week, but I think at that point, some point during at least at the end of the week, well, you're pushing towards the end as far as getting what the blueprint of the ship is going to be. You only have like a day left when that drops. So,
I mean, that's a good thing. Look, Josh has just come up with 23 minutes. Okay, so I don't know if that's crew or no crew, but even if it's not, it's steelheads, because steelheads works really well, obviously, with the FM targets. That's still an instant fix in the thing, and yes, you are getting quite a few considerable points there compared to the 135. So, even it's probably worth then docking, fixing, and then going back out again. So, it wouldn't take long. I mean, that's what is it? You said it was 13K? What was it?
it's 13K. The last one was 12.5.
Okay, so you only need 3 of those, and then you're up there. That's your first armor. Yeah. So if you're instant fixing that, it's not that bad.
No, that was the wrong ship I was looking at for him. Yeah, I was trying to confirm what his upgrade level is, but
so 4, so it's 9, 12, and your tokens. I mean, you've got a bit left over as well. You need to do 12 targets. 16 targets, sorry, don't you?
Yeah.
No, it's 12 targets, isn't it? 12 targets. That's what you need to do. 3 to pop, 3 4s, 12. Yeah. So, and there's nothing really else if you're up to speed with everything. There's nothing else in the FM apart from that to get. So,
Josh, what crew are you getting that gets splash and evade? I don't know what crew that is.
Oh, right. Is there a crew that does splash and evade? Is
So,
he hacking? Hacking.
No,
What crew
no, no.
does splash and evade?
Oh, no, I think he
right.
said with crew, so I guess it was his upgrade level. Okay. I don't know, Crypto. You could punch in on the show. Is the 163 disappeared? I mean, maybe it's going to come back and be meaner. I have no idea.
They'll always
Yeah,
adapt, won't they?
I noticed that all the 163s in my set just disappeared on me.
All right.
So,
Just,
you can't
one
find
here.
one.
Okay.
Just click
Yeah.
one here.
And that's splash and spread, not splash and evade. That's
Oh, the
what
Molotov.
yeah, well, it's splash and spread. So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I guess.
Yeah, I wonder why the 163 has been taken down. Are they not happy with the amount of damage they're getting? Or is it just because the people are hitting them and they've not come through the cycle? You know, because sometimes, obviously, as they used to in the old days, you know, it takes a little while for new targets to go through the cycles. You'd have to go through, like, if they change a target, you'd have to go through and continue hitting the old ones first before the cycle reset, before you get the updated versions, which is goddamn annoying sometimes.
Yes, and I agree with that. And I was seeing that with the at least the first couple of days of the raid, that I had to search around to find anything but a 512.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Where they put them all into one group when they should be separated. Like the X targets and the S targets should be separated in two different groups. That way, you know.
Well, I put my hand up straight away because I posted a video, as you well know, because it was you that told me, and I'd actually clicked the wrong video because I thought I was hitting a 512, and it wasn't. It was I thought it was a 152, and it wasn't. It was a 512, and I put the video together and I posted it up there, and then you were like, "Yeah, good timing, but it's the wrong target." I was like, "Really?"
Yeah.
I thought I hit a 152, and then I hit a 512, and it was two 512 because there was no 152s available in the whole of the sector I was in. And I don't know, I was just looking at it, and my mind was playing tricks with me and that sort of stuff. So yeah, you were quite right. I was like, actually, I managed to do that for instant fix. I was expecting the 512 to be much harder, and then it wasn't. So
I think it's just in the sector, everyone's hitting them because they've come back again. So
yeah, they've just popped up here. I've just refreshed my page and they're back up. They're in different locations to where they were. I just bookmarked one, which has now disappeared, but another one's popped up just close to it. So yeah, it must be just the half-hour refresh period or something. You know.
Yeah. That was and then the 152 and the 512. We're not that different in difficulty. It was just a matter of time. Mm-hmm. The 152, I think, was the 152 was less consistent as far as damage. I sometimes took a little bit less, and sometimes I took a little bit more than the 512.
Less forgiving. Yeah.
The 512 was more consistent, towards the middle as far as the total amount of damage I took, but it was within the band of the 152. So
I think what I preferred on the 512 was the way the oil fields were laid out on the ice fields, because they were like in a square sort of stuff, where actually it was really random, sporadic in the 152 sort of stuff. And it was quite difficult to utilize them, where actually it was really, really simple in the 512.
Okay.
That's how I found it anyway, because they were like three rings basically. So they weren't rings because they were sort of like rectangles, but at least you knew you could jump from one of the oil slicks to the next one, and you could definitely get yourself out the way of things, which actually was quite difficult in the to do that. You had to think more, I think, to be honest.
Which definitely made the 512s easier to prep.
Yeah,
because of that.
Yeah, you done loads, didn't you, as well?
Yeah, I did a couple hundred preppings, and the 512 definitely was the easier one compared to the 152.
Yeah, it was. I think it was because it was more spread out. There was only because what I found there was like points of difficulty, in both targets, and it doesn't matter how they were set up, as far as some combination of the I forget the how they describe them, but the prototype hunters or whatever, the one that dropped the ice and whatnot, and then you combine them with the Nighthawk, and eventually at the end of the day, I decided, okay, I'm not going to deal with this Nighthawk unless it's just gone down. And then, if it's just gone down, I have no problem. Just boom, just show them your side weapon on your flagship, and it's dead. There's no chance it's going to pop up and get into range. You've killed it. And that was, at the end of the day, that's what I ended up doing. It was just sort of like, I'm just going to sit there and wait, because it's not moving fast. I just kill all the other stuff, and the 512 have better spacing in order to kill out the hunters beforehand, and I would just wait. You didn't have to wait long. 5-8 seconds at most, and then you just showed them but we need to come up with a name with that. Your little side, your bat
side skirt.
Yeah. You show them your little bat wing with the weapon built in, and it was dead way before it was even going to think about coming back up. So, and the cool thing about the 512, I'm not sure what that means, but does anybody want to? I don't know. Deal with the new FM target or anything else as far as driving it? Because I think we're out of slides. But does anybody want to?
If Crypto wants to drive, I can auto. If someone wants to drive it, I can auto it, because then we're both probably all built the same these days anyway. So
yeah, and then I still
I like to see the pathing when you auto, see what it does. If it does completely stupid stuff, or where it's quite sensible, because the new top tier target, I think the auto path is quite reasonable. It's not perfect, but it's a lot better than the previous ones. The 170, is it 172? That's horrendous. That one, the way the ships disappear.
Yeah, the auto I found in the pre-show was quite reasonable on the 163. I definitely can auto that again. I'm not good at driving, so I need instructions on that.
Well, I'll tell you what. Shall I drive one?
Crypto is an auto specialist.
So if I drive one, because I've not even viewed the target yet. So if I share my screen and I drive one, because it'll literally be the first one I've ever looked at. So where the hell is my fleet? Let's see. The garrison fleet's there. Let me share my screen a second.
All right.
You got it?
Yep.
Slides done, Jeff? Slides done?
And is all yours U3 or?
So these are U3, yeah, and on them, I think I'm even on armor, both of them. It's identical armor on left and right, and I have got the new, the 5 extra, new morts on them, which does virtually no difference anyway, does it? So slightly faster on reload, but and what 3k more damage each one or something stupid. It's nothing. It's really spin your ships or miss one volley, and it's just about wasted, to be honest. But anyway, I think this is a 163 here, isn't it? Does it give you the same entry point every time on Ultra? Did you notice?
It seems to, yes.
Okay, well we can test that. I think we'll go in at the 6 and let's have a little look. So we'll count up what's in there first and see if we can make just for a first look. So we've got straight away. We have got pen. Penetrative, 2 penetrative, 3 pen, 1 rocket, 3 pen, 1 rocket. Is that right? Looks like it on HC turrets.
Yes, that's right.
Cool. Okay, so there's no point splitting your ships up for the pen, because obviously it hits the lowest target. Obviously, they have splash damage, so you can do a little bit, but obviously it selects the lowest health. The highest health armor target there is, but this is the one that obviously it can be a bonus because obviously get splash damage from this one here as well. So what have we got that we can hide behind? Can't really hide behind that. Can't really hide behind. No, can't hide behind any of those there. In fact, there's nowhere to hide, is there? So I can't. Normally, you can, like some of the previous ones, the 183, you can hide behind and take out the rockets that are normally down in this area here, and you can fire over the wall and take the rockets out, and they can't fire at you because they can't breach these mountains. But there's nothing like that for this one. This is a case of just do it, I think, to be honest.
Yep. And I've just confirmed I came in at 11 o'clock, and it starts at the same location.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Well, then that's something, isn't it? So, so that one gives me a gap there, and that one. So this looks clear. This area here, doesn't it? Yeah, it is. I think you might just be able to sneak through with the ice fields there. So we'll use these mountains here, I think, first then, because there's those rockets there. Very similar to that other star, the other target. I can't remember what the number is, but the one that's all this sort of stuff here is down here normally. So it looks very copy and paste from a previous target.
Yeah, so we said similar to the 162, I believe, set 4.
Yeah,
like
I think
you
that's
said,
the one. Yeah,
front
yeah.
was further down.
Look, we can just snuck inside there. So you don't get your splash damage and split them up. Got one volley coming in there. May or may not have hit. I don't know, to be honest. Okay, so that's the mess out of the way at the front. I wonder if we can sneak around and get that one there. Let's see if we can sneak around and miss this one here. Will it? No, it's not going to miss it, is it? A little bit. And getting as quick as we can. So this is a catch-22 scenario, isn't it? Do you kill the rockets first, or do you kill off this single HC turret? I'm never quite sure what the best thing to do is, to be honest. Because the rockets do pepper pot you, but the HC turret obviously does the big bulk of damage. So they've reduced the damage on these turrets. Sorry, reduced the resistance on these turrets. They're dying really fast. I clip him. Can't. Right. So I can't get through there, can I? That rocket HT turret.
I mean, for the people that are really persnickety, have they the new launch pad and the new rockets?
Oh, you could probably knock out the HT turrets if you wanted to. Yeah, if you want to save them up. I wonder what the resistance is. I've got one of those rockets actually. I think I've built one. We could try that.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if they come into play in the game, because you assume that they have to have a purpose, right? They're like, oh, okay, well, people are complaining on our little.
I think the purpose is taking down gates in people's bases because they.
Well, there's two of them. There's one for the ships and there's one for the.
Yeah, I don't think they. Well, they certainly don't damage any conqueror holes, do they? So
yeah.
It's too weak to damage. I went through all the different conqueror holes, looking at that one that does ship damage, and it's not even going to scratch a thing. Not unless you're going back to old tier 8 stuff. Okay, so that's a first look. Brilliant. Well, there's no crew on this, obviously. I didn't use any crew at all, so splash damage would have definitely helped because it's lots of clusters, isn't there? There's what, 5? Yeah, 5 clusters. So
okay.
What do we get then? 11% pen, because obviously there's more pen HT turrets, isn't there? And only 6% explosive. 40 minutes? Oh no, 24 minutes. Okay.
Okay.
Well, that was all right without a crew. That's
probably potentially instant in the base.
Should be, shouldn't it? Let's go back in and have a little look. Let's recall it.
Okay. Now I understand where they go. I bore. The spelling of board threw me off a little bit.
Oh
Try
yes,
and-
yeah.
Oh, okay. Now I get it. Yeah, try and convince your wife of this. This might be an issue if you bring it up at the house.
I think it would be an issue.
Yeah, well, you never know.
I know how brave you are.
she might be game. You never know. But
Or not.
I have no idea. I've never met the woman. I'm not even sure she exists. But it's all good.
It might be a figment of someone's imagination. It's all fake news.
Yeah, it could be fake news.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, just do something at the same time. That's all right. Let's auto this darn thing. I just like getting rid of the TLCs. Right, let's go in the dock and have a little look, see if it is even across the board. A couple of ships probably took some of those incoming HT pen turrets, and a couple of them didn't. So
Well, the HD they do splash as well.
yeah, that's the point. I mean, I did try to split the fleet up a little bit on a couple of them, but let's have a look in the dock then. So what do we got?
Okay.
Reading more silly stuff. So yeah, I mean, 5 minutes and a couple of seconds on that one, so you can virtually call that instant. It isn't, but right. 4.
So yeah, I'm assuming unless it's the fifth ship that pops up as being
3 seconds over. So I mean, I don't think it's going to be. It shouldn't be.
Yeah, it depends how much lag. That could be the same as
4:46. So maybe the fifth did take a tiny little bit more. One of them took a bit more from one of the HTs, maybe. I don't think so. It looks reasonable. Yeah, so there we go. That's not bad, is it? By the time you start it, it's already gone past the counter, so you can do it straight away. Okay, I'll just do an auto one as well. If you want to do yours, I can do it. I don't need to do it. Should we have a look at the path? Oh, hello, look, someone's getting hit. Do you want to watch that?
no. Who is it?
It's one of my lads. Yeah.
Okay.
Nighthawk. Anyway, let me find another one. Let's see if we can find one and just see what it does on the auto, because it'd be to see the path, wouldn't it? He says, is it quicker to go find one on the locator? Probably is. Forsaken mission 63. These things are quite fast in the water, aren't they? So 7 seconds, yeah.
Be interesting to see what damage you get, because I get around the 53-minute mark on order.
All right.
But mine are U0 apart from the flag, which is U3.
All right, well, that's good. Then it is worth doing this. So okay. So we'll just literally let it do its own thing and not do anything at all. I'll just press let's go. Are we zoomed in, zoomed out? We're zoomed out, aren't we? We'll just let it do its own thing. This is one of those talk amongst yourself moments.
Yeah. Cheer on the ice dragon versus the fire dragons. There's all sorts of possibilities here.
So it's things like this. Look, I like. Look, so it's already pre-positioning. So they designed it nice. It's already going behind the mountains, so that you're not going to take that rocket damage, which is good. They didn't have to do that, but
Is it going to splash out the ship?
So my worry is it's going to drive into the HT area. So I think.
Oh, it splashed out the ship. Yeah. Oh no! Look at that.
That's all right, isn't it? That's better than I drove it. That's actually better than what I did.
It seemed to be quite reasonable in its path.
See, this way is not bad, because actually you could avoid all the ice fields and go and take up that first HT. And because ultimately, actually, when I went up and around to the right, that's probably not the right way to go, because I clipped that first HT turret anyway to get round. You couldn't sneak through, so I'd already triggered the darn thing anyway. So why not go in there and kill it?
Yeah, and you could take the lessons from this one and improve your driving version.
And I could snip up and take that second pen one, look, because I can get between those like 2 ice fields there and drive straight up north now and grab the second one, and I'm just clear again then to go and kill those other turrets, because there's no other HT turrets nearby. So actually going anti-clockwise on this turret, this target, sorry, would actually be better. Yeah, so it's going to go and take that HT turret out now. And it'll probably then swing left and take the other turrets out. It is. Yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's just going inside the range. It's just nipped inside the Ranger. That's slightly annoying. But...
Yeah. It looks so close, like it might be outside. But yeah.
No, the rocket is taking. It's back outside. Well, it's right on the borderline, isn't it?
But that's where your driving will do slightly less damage.
Yeah. But the problem is, like me, I'm a bit of a bull in a china shop. When I drive, I just drive into the whole set, and then obviously everything's triggered. Whereas this is clipping the edges, isn't it? So, but I mean, there's only 2 more HT turrets, and it's not looking too bad, is it?
Mm-mm.
You know, he'll clip that from there, and none of those rockets are getting through, as you can see. Look, so even the HT rocket won't get through because he's behind the mountain. So whilst it looked bad, it's not doing him any damage. Now, Splash should take that out as well. So done. Hopefully that'll take all those out. Yeah, this is definitely an anti-clockwise target. Sorry, absolutely. Because that one will go straight and take the HT turret, and the rest of it is now just slow time. So, do you know what? That could actually be less damage than my version. Because it certainly looks like it. It looks like auto is going to be better than driving, which I'm very happy with.
Yeah, that was my concern, because we've seen these. The last time was the raid targets. There was that one raid target with the. Okay, you took more even damage at this point.
Yeah, it was more even, but that's because it was sneaking that rocket turret, wasn't it? It was just running along its edge, wasn't it? So I suppose in that area there, you could manually, you could manually drive that section and just let it go. But yeah, 8 and 9 and 23. There's your answer.
There you go.
Which is definitely instant fix in the base, isn't it? And that's no crew. There's no crew on that at all. So
yeah,
I mean, I don't think even you need a crew to be honest. You don't need splash crew because obviously it seems to splash everything out quite nicely. You could go steelheads if you wanted to, just to it'll probably take a minute or 2 off at the most. But what's the point?
Yeah,
cool. Like it. Don't change it, please. It's fine.
Yeah, no, and it makes sense because there's not really that much of a change in.
So 12 targets, instant fix. You got your armor.
Yeah.
Happy with that.
Makes sense to me. So, is anybody past price pack 1 and either in the chat, especially if you're further along, on the return to honor using the Ronins, just so people can see how you're supposed to hit it. Including chat, because I'm not sure anybody else is. I'm in prize pack 1, but I saw, I can't recall who it was. Wasn't sure if it was Josh or somebody else that was at prize pack 7. But if you can see some of the later prize packs, that would be cool to see, associated with the how the Ronins take care of that and like the way to drive it.
The only thing I did is I just reposted the mastery round on the TFC page. That's the only thing I've done.
Okay.
But obviously I haven't even started that yet because I've been chatting and doing nothing really, to be honest.
It's all good. That's all good. I'm just throwing out what I consider
I'm sure we don't want to put up a video that I've got on YouTube because that's not exactly live, is it? To be honest, that's a bit boring. So
well, and it doesn't translate well.
No, and also doesn't confirm that there may be some slight changes. So and if I doubt there is, but
Yeah. No, but as far as like showing other YouTube videos, it's
it's a bit dull.
Well, it's choppy. The video doesn't.
Oh right,
it doesn't transfer as well. Okay, if nobody wants to show us that, we might see you on Friday when I'm not sure what we're going to learn over the next couple of days.
The best route to getting your defense tokens for free. How about that?
Yeah.
That's about the only thing you get out of it, killing the XP target, isn't it?
Well, as far as that's what I'm sort of as far as as I was saying, as far as people understanding what to do and what not to do in the targets that are associated with the return to honor.
Mm.
But it's so far it looks pretty simple. Just avoid the clouds, avoid the ring of fires, and set your side CMs towards anything that's going to fire torpedoes at you, and
Mhm.
you're in a good position.
Yeah, I think so. I think most people should be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I say, I was at U2, and with 3 ships, I was content. So the worst I got was 10 minutes damage on that. Was I think on round 7. So
Okay. Alrighty. Well, if nobody's stepping up to do anything different, I think we'll probably end the show for the evening, and we'll see you all on Friday. And thanks for showing up, and take care, and have a pleasant evening.
good night.
Later, people.
Evening all.